You think you know power? Nathan Whitmore's voice cut through the marble lobby, sharp, amused, and entirely dismissive as he surveyed the room. Olivia Bennet adjusted her black apron, her posture unassuming yet precise, hands moving calmly over the polished surface of the concierge desk as if she belonged to a world far beyond the clinking glasses and murmurs of Manhattan's elite. Nathan's steel blue eyes landed on her, his lips curling in a faint, almost mocking smile. "Table for one," he said, his tone casual but carrying an edge that made it clear he expected obedience, or at least deference. Olivia glanced up once, her emerald eyes steady, measuring him with quiet intelligence, and replied in a soft, even voice, "Right this way, sir." She led him through the grand hallway, each step deliberate, each movement controlled with a grace that seemed to exist outside the chaotic energy of the hotel. Nathan followed, intrigued despite himself, noting the subtle command she exerted over the staff and the way her attention flicked effortlessly from one detail to another. Nothing was left to chance, nothing overlooked, yet she moved as if the world had always been hers to manage. As they reached a secluded table by the window, Nathan leaned back, curiosity now mingling with amusement. "I've been told this hotel runs like clockwork," he said, his voice tinged with challenge, "even when someone as ordinary as a waitress is on duty." Olivia paused briefly, placing a glass of water in front of him with exact precision, her hand brushing the edge of the table lightly, almost absent-mindedly, and said, "Ordinary is in the eye of the beholder, sir. Would you like the menu, or should I start with a brief overview of the hotel's operations?" Nathan froze, a flicker of surprise passing through his expression, and he leaned forward, resting his forearms on the polished wood. "Operations?" he echoed, voice low, incredulous. Olivia tilted her head slightly, eyes never leaving his, and began outlining the staff rotations, guest preferences, and an upcoming event with an insight and clarity that made Nathan's carefully constructed facade of superiority wobble. Each word, each gesture revealed a mind attuned not only to service but to strategy, a subtle intelligence that had gone unnoticed by many before. Nathan's jaw tightened, admiration and shock competing in his gaze. He had expected meekness, hesitation, perhaps even a hint of fluster, but here was confidence, control, and foresight, all in the form of a woman dressed in the uniform he had so casually assumed signaled subservience. Olivia continued, noting potential improvements in efficiency with the same calm, authoritative tone she used to take orders and manage requests, her presence commanding attention without a raised voice or unnecessary flourish. Nathan's smirk faltered, replaced by a slow, dawning recognition. She was no ordinary employee. She moved through the room with quiet dominance, directing staff subtly with gestures and eye contact, anticipating the needs of guests and mitigating problems before they arose. Every detail Nathan had overlooked revealed a layer of power he hadn't expected, a competence that didn't demand notice but earned it nonetheless. His eyes narrowed, following her as she adjusted a chair for an elderly guest and corrected a reservation discrepancy with a simple, confident explanation that left the front desk staff silently impressed. Nathan's mind raced, connecting threads he hadn't realized were connected. The precision, the authority, the calm under scrutiny, it all pointed to someone with real influence, someone who could navigate the complexities of wealth and responsibility with ease. Olivia finally stepped back, her posture relaxed but dignified, a faint, knowing smile touching her lips as she returned to the desk. Nathan exhaled slowly, a mix of awe and incredulity passing through him. He had come expecting a minor amusement, a fleeting encounter with someone he assumed beneath his notice. Instead, he found himself confronted with competence, poise, and subtle mastery, a quiet power that left him momentarily speechless. As he watched her interact with another guest, adjusting a reservation and anticipating needs before they were voiced, Nathan realized that this evening was just the beginning, that Olivia Bennet held secrets, authority, and skill far beyond what he had assumed, and that he was about to learn just how far those surprises could go. Olivia Bennet moved with a steady grace, guiding Nathan Whitmore through the dining area as soft chandeliers cast a warm glow over the polished tables and muted carpet. Every step she took seemed deliberate, a dance between efficiency and elegance, her eyes briefly flicking to a reservation tablet to verify seating assignments. Nathan followed, his gaze sharpened, observing the way she communicated silently with other staff members, the subtle gestures that ensured everything ran smoothly without a word being spoken. He had seen countless managers and executives over the years, yet the precision, calm confidence, and quiet authority Olivia displayed held a different weight, a magnetic pull that made him reassess his initial assumptions. A slight frown creased his forehead as she approached a table with a minor scheduling conflict, handling it with tact and clarity that left the guests nodding in approval while remaining unaware of the small chaos she had just prevented. Nathan could not help but notice the way she anticipated problems, offering solutions before anyone could voice concern, a mind agile and thorough, hidden beneath the simplicity of her uniform. He leaned back slightly, the gold watch on his wrist catching the light, but his focus remained entirely on her, tracing her every movement with growing respect. Olivia excused herself briefly to adjust a chair for an elderly guest who had just arrived, her motions effortless, natural, and composed. Nathan's lips pressed together, realizing that he had underestimated the depth of her competence. As she returned, a faint smile touched her lips, not proud or boastful, but acknowledging the invisible energy in the room she had subtly orchestrated. Nathan opened his mouth to speak, hesitated, then opted to observe further, curiosity overriding his usual need to control. He watched as she directed a junior staff member with a calm word and a precise hand motion, solving a minor bottleneck at the check-in desk that had threatened to disrupt service. The efficiency, the foresight, the ease with which she balanced multiple tasks without seeming hurried, all of it pointed to someone who had mastered her environment completely, someone who commanded attention not through volume or demand, but through quiet skill. Nathan's pulse quickened slightly as he recognized the shift within himself, a rare moment of humility in a life accustomed to being in charge, accustomed to expecting the best, and often being disappointed. Olivia moved past him to the concierge desk, coordinating a room change for a last-minute VIP request, her voice soft but authoritative, and Nathan found himself momentarily silent, absorbing each word, each gesture, each subtle correction she offered, realizing that this woman, whom he had initially dismissed, held a level of influence and intelligence that rivaled his own. He shifted in his seat, studying her as she retrieved a file and explained an upcoming event's contingency plan, her ability to anticipate every detail impressing him beyond measure. The room felt alive with her quiet presence, a controlled energy that Nathan found himself respecting, almost envying, as he leaned back, his usual confidence tempered by the realization that power could reside in places he had never imagined, expressed in ways he had not expected, and commanded without the fanfare that so many relied upon. Olivia's eyes met his for a fleeting second, a silent acknowledgement of the observation, her posture unwavering, calm, and dignified, leaving Nathan to wonder just how much he had missed in the first moments of their encounter, how little he truly understood about influence, competence, and presence, and how far her quiet mastery would extend beyond what he had yet witnessed. As she returned to the front desk, adjusting a minor discrepancy in the booking system with a smooth, almost imperceptible gesture, Nathan exhaled slowly, his mind racing with the possibilities, the surprises still awaiting him in the evening ahead, aware that every interaction with Olivia Bennett carried lessons he had not anticipated, and that the night was only beginning to reveal the full measure of her capabilities. Nathan Whitmore sat back in his chair, the quiet hum of the hotel lobby filling the space around him as Olivia Bennett moved with calm precision, her hands guiding a tray of drinks for a group of arriving guests. Each motion was deliberate, controlled, and fluid, her eyes constantly scanning the room to anticipate needs before they were expressed, a silent choreography that held the attention of everyone nearby without a word raised. Nathan observed her closely, noting the subtle way she corrected a staff member who had misaligned a table setting, doing so with a soft tone and gentle hand gesture that conveyed authority without force. The precision of her movements and the confidence in her demeanor made him lean forward, curiosity tightening in his chest as he realized how seamlessly she managed every detail of the lobby, from guest interactions to staff coordination, all while maintaining an air of effortless composure. A small group of tourists approached the concierge desk with a confused question about room availability, and Olivia stepped forward, answering their inquiries with a warmth and clarity that diffused their uncertainty instantly. Nathan watched her nod, smile, and redirect them to a waiting area with such natural ease that he almost forgot to breathe. His mind, trained to calculate outcomes and predict behaviors in high-stakes business environments, now raced with admiration and disbelief. This woman, whom he had underestimated at first glance, displayed an intuitive understanding of management, human behavior, and logistics that surpassed many he had encountered in boardrooms and executive suites. Olivia returned to the service area, noticing a minor discrepancy in a booking while simultaneously acknowledging a VIP guest's arrival with a courteous bow and an efficient exchange of pleasantries. Nathan's eyes narrowed slightly as he processed the juxtaposition, humility and service paired with undeniable mastery over her environment. Every glance, every small action, revealed depth and thoughtfulness he had not anticipated, and the thought began to crystallize that she was far more than her uniform suggested. He followed her movements, noting how she communicated silently with staff members, giving direction with an economy of words and a clarity of gesture that kept operations running smoothly and prevented any minor errors from escalating. Nathan realized that Olivia's control was not overt or aggressive, but subtle, composed, and commanding in a way that drew respect without demanding it. The more he observed, the more he recognized that she had the capacity to influence outcomes, manage personalities, and resolve challenges with a tact and intelligence that made his usual strategies seem almost blunt by comparison. As Olivia returned a guest's misplaced item to its proper place with a single, precise motion and a soft reassurance, Nathan felt a shift within himself. He was no longer merely evaluating a server. He was witnessing a professional operating at a level that required admiration and recalibration of his initial judgments. She moved back toward the concierge desk, coordinating an unexpected change in reservation times while simultaneously acknowledging new arrivals, a subtle smile touching her lips as she ensured every detail was attended to. Nathan exhaled slowly, a rare moment of humility washing over him as he realized that the lessons of observation, patience, and true capability were being imparted not from a boardroom or a presentation, but from someone who had mastered the art of presence, service, and understated authority. The lobby, once a backdrop of routine and expectation, now seemed alive with the quiet command Olivia exerted, a force that demanded attention, inspired confidence, and left Nathan questioning everything he had assumed about control, respect, and the unexpected places where true leadership could reside. Each subtle nod, each calm instruction, each measured step she took through the space revealed a narrative of skill and intelligence that Nathan could not ignore, leaving him simultaneously intrigued, challenged, and captivated, aware that the evening had only just begun and that Olivia Bennett had already begun to rewrite the rules he thought he knew about influence, competence, and presence. The evening light shifted through the tall windows of the lobby, casting long shadows across the marble floor as Olivia Bennett moved effortlessly between guests, her calm presence contrasting with the faint hum of conversation. Nathan Whitmore remained seated, a soft clink of a glass punctuating the otherwise quiet space as he studied her, tracing the subtle confidence in each motion. She paused briefly to check a reservation tablet, her fingers gliding across the screen with exact precision, adjusting schedules and confirming details without hesitation, her eyes meeting his for a fraction of a second before she returned to attending to a couple at a corner table. Nathan noticed how her movements seemed to orchestrate the energy of the entire room, each gesture, each word, guiding staff and guests seamlessly without drawing attention to herself. A minor complication arose when a guest requested an urgent room change, and Olivia responded instantly, her voice steady, courteous, and precise, coordinating the change while attending to another visitor who needed directions. Nathan's expression softened as he realized that her ability to anticipate issues, prevent misunderstandings, and manage multiple details simultaneously was something he had rarely witnessed outside of a boardroom. She returned to the desk to process a last-minute VIP request, interacting with the staff silently through subtle nods and eye contact that conveyed authority and clarity without raising her voice. Nathan leaned back, absorbing the rhythm of her work, noting how she seemed to understand the flow of the hotel instinctively, directing energy rather than commanding it, solving problems before they fully manifested. He recalled the countless executives he had met, people who relied on titles, power, and volume to assert authority, and compared it to Olivia's method, quiet, effective, and deeply commanding. His admiration grew as he saw her guide a new employee through a check-in process, correcting mistakes with a calm word, a small gesture, and a patient smile that ensured the lesson was learned without embarrassment. Each interaction revealed layers of competence, empathy, and intelligence that Nathan had not anticipated, leaving him quietly evaluating his assumptions about capability and presence. Olivia retrieved a set of documents for an incoming guest, organizing the details, anticipating questions, and offering insights that improved the guest's experience instantly. Nathan's eyes followed her, noting the precision, the efficiency, and the subtle authority she wielded without ever demanding recognition. The entire lobby moved as she moved, its energy responding to her attention and control, yet she remained grounded, approachable, and composed. Nathan felt an unfamiliar sense of humility, realizing that influence and power could manifest in ways he had not considered, that true leadership was often silent, decisive, and invisible to the casual observer. Olivia adjusted a minor discrepancy in a group reservation, the action small but executed with exactness and care, and Nathan could not take his eyes off her, the realization settling that every detail of the hotel was under her watchful, capable oversight. The light shifted again, reflecting off polished surfaces, highlighting the quiet mastery she commanded and leaving Nathan with a sense of anticipation, as if the evening was only beginning to reveal the depth of her skill, the breadth of her authority, and the subtle way she would continue to challenge every assumption he had about what it meant to lead, to manage, and to command respect through dignity and expertise alone. The soft hum of conversation and clinking glasses surrounded Nathan Whitmore as he watched Olivia Bennett move through the lobby, her every gesture purposeful yet graceful, commanding attention without demanding it. She approached a couple who had arrived earlier than expected, their hands full of luggage, and she greeted them with a calm, reassuring smile, immediately alleviating their tension. Nathan's eyes followed her, noticing the subtle way she guided their bags, checked them in, and offered precise recommendations for dining and amenities, all without drawing any unnecessary attention to herself. A minor hiccup arose when one of the guests realized they had forgotten a document for registration, and Olivia handled it with ease, offering a solution before they even voiced their concern, her voice steady and authoritative, her demeanor composed and dignified. Nathan's admiration grew as he observed her coordinate with a bellhop, making sure every guest's need was anticipated and met seamlessly, the room responding to her movements as if she controlled the flow of energy around her. She adjusted the seating for a group arriving late, explained their room assignments, and answered a question about a late checkout policy with clarity that left the guests nodding appreciatively, unaware of how much thought and skill had gone into the process. Nathan leaned forward slightly, his hands clasped together, absorbing each motion, each word, each interaction, recognizing the depth of expertise that lay behind her quiet professionalism. He reflected on the executives he had worked with, the managers he had seen command rooms with authority, and realized that Olivia's influence was different, more subtle but infinitely more effective, a demonstration of competence and intelligence that did not require dominance or volume. Olivia returned to the concierge desk to handle a sudden change in the event schedule, her fingers gliding across the tablet with precision, coordinating with multiple staff members simultaneously, ensuring nothing was overlooked. Nathan noticed how her eyes scanned the room constantly, taking in small details, anticipating issues before they arose, managing the ebb and flow of activity with skill that seemed effortless. He realized that every interaction, every movement, was carefully calibrated, an expression of authority and capability that left no room for error, yet maintained a warmth and approachability that drew respect naturally. A young staff member hesitated over a booking discrepancy, and Olivia approached quietly, guiding them with a soft word and a gentle nod, correcting the mistake without embarrassment or tension. The lesson communicated with clarity and care. Nathan's pulse quickened slightly, admiration and respect mingling with an awareness that he had underestimated her completely, that every assumption he had made about the uniform she wore, the position she held, and the capabilities she possessed had been wrong. She moved back toward the lobby, adjusting minor details and attending to a late-arriving guest with efficiency and tact, her presence commanding attention in a way that was invisible yet undeniable. Nathan exhaled slowly, recognizing that Olivia Bennet was not simply managing the lobby. She was orchestrating the experience of the entire hotel, her skill and intelligence apparent in every detail, every motion, and every interaction. The quiet command she held over the environment, the unspoken authority she projected, and the thoughtful precision with which she executed every task left him captivated, curious, and increasingly aware that he was witnessing something extraordinary, a talent and mastery that defied expectations and suggested depths he had yet to fully comprehend. As she moved past him, her eyes briefly meeting his with a subtle, confident acknowledgement, Nathan felt a mixture of surprise, admiration, and anticipation, knowing that the evening was far from over and that Olivia Bennet still had much more to reveal about her influence, her intelligence, and the understated power she wielded effortlessly through grace, composure, and quiet authority. The soft glow of evening light deepened as the lobby began to empty, but Olivia Bennet's attention never wavered, her movements measured and deliberate as she guided the final guests to their rooms and ensured that every detail was perfect. Nathan Whitmore remained seated, captivated by the way she balanced efficiency with warmth, authority with approachability, every interaction layered with thoughtfulness and precision. She paused at the concierge desk, consulting a tablet, adjusting room assignments for an unexpected late arrival, her fingers gliding across the screen with practiced ease while her eyes scanned the room, noting the positions of staff and guests, anticipating their next moves. Nathan watched closely, noting how she communicated through subtle gestures and small, directed nods, managing a team and orchestrating events silently yet with unmistakable authority. A guest approached with a question about a change in the event schedule, and Olivia responded calmly, outlining the solutions with clarity and confidence, ensuring the guest felt heard and accommodated while simultaneously signaling to a staff member to implement the adjustments without delay. Nathan's admiration deepened as he realized the extent of her skill, how seamlessly she integrated problem-solving, foresight, and human understanding into every task, a level of competence and composure that contrasted sharply with the superficial displays of power he was accustomed to witnessing in his own world. Olivia moved to attend another guest, coordinating a room service request while answering an inquiry about a restaurant booking, her voice calm, measured, and imbued with a quiet authority that commanded respect without demanding it. Nathan could not take his eyes off her, observing how effortlessly she maintained control, anticipating issues, managing multiple variables, and ensuring that every guest's experience was smooth, efficient, and comfortable. She returned to the desk to process a last-minute request from a VIP, handling the details with a soft tone and precise gestures, directing staff with subtle authority, her posture composed, and her expression unflinching. Nathan leaned forward slightly, sensing the depth of her intelligence, the quiet power that radiated from her presence, realizing that she was more than a manager, more than a guide, more than someone to be observed. She was a force in her environment, shaping it with skill, precision, and insight. He noted the way she offered assistance to a young staff member, correcting a minor error with patience and clarity, imparting knowledge without diminishing confidence, and guiding the outcome with a quiet but unmistakable influence. Each action, each decision, each glance conveyed mastery and composure, and Nathan felt a rare, humbling moment wash over him, a recognition that leadership and control were not always loud, not always visible, but often silent, deliberate, and profoundly effective. Olivia moved back to the center of the lobby, observing the flow of activity, adjusting small details, anticipating the needs of both guests and staff, and maintaining a presence that was calm yet commanding, quiet yet impossible to ignore. Nathan exhaled slowly, understanding that the lessons of the evening were unfolding not through grand gestures or speeches, but through the measured, precise, and elegant management of space, people, and events, revealing a depth of skill, intelligence, and quiet authority that left him both impressed and intrigued, aware that there were still layers of her capability he had yet to witness, and that the remainder of the evening would continue to challenge his assumptions about competence, influence, and the true measure of leadership. As the evening deepened and the last of the guests departed, the lobby settled into a quiet rhythm, the soft echo of footsteps and the gentle murmur of distant voices filling the space. Olivia Bennet moved through the room with the same deliberate calm, checking details, ensuring nothing had been overlooked, her eyes sharp, attentive, and yet soft with consideration for those around her. Nathan Whitmore remained seated near the grand staircase, observing her every movement, noting how effortlessly she maintained authority and poise while still remaining approachable, warm, and composed. A final set of guests approached the front desk with a question about an early checkout and luggage transport, and Olivia responded with measured confidence, explaining the process and delegating tasks to staff with subtle gestures and concise instructions, ensuring each step was executed smoothly and without confusion. Nathan's gaze followed her, noticing the precise balance between direction and discretion, the way she guided employees with quiet authority, correcting minor errors without embarrassment or raised voice, and managing the flow of the lobby with an almost imperceptible hand. She paused briefly to adjust the placement of chairs and linens in the dining area, a small detail, but one that spoke volumes about her attention to perfection, her awareness of aesthetics and comfort for the guests, and her ability to anticipate needs before they were even articulated. Nathan leaned back slightly, taking in the full scope of her presence, the combination of intelligence, control, empathy, and composure that made her movements effortless and her authority undeniable. She glanced toward him once, her eyes briefly acknowledging his observation, then returned to a staff member who had approached with a question about room availability, answering with clarity and guiding the solution with such finesse that Nathan realized he had underestimated the depth of her expertise. The realization settled on him gradually. Olivia Bennet was not merely managing the environment. She was shaping it, orchestrating interactions, resolving issues, and anticipating the needs of all within the space with skill that rivaled any executive he had known. Each action, each glance, each measured step revealed her mastery, leaving Nathan both captivated and quietly humbled. He watched as she guided a guest to the correct suite, offering instructions and reassurance with effortless elegance, her demeanor calm but commanding, and he felt a rare humility as he recognized that true leadership often resided in those who acted without fanfare, yet influenced outcomes profoundly. Olivia returned to the desk, checking the logs for the night, coordinating with staff and preparing for the next day, all with quiet precision, while Nathan observed, impressed by the balance of strength, intelligence, and grace she exhibited. The hotel, once just a backdrop for routine service, now seemed alive with her presence, a testament to her ability to command attention without demanding it, to influence without assertion, and to lead through competence and dignity. Nathan exhaled slowly, a mixture of awe and reflection settling over him as he realized that the evening had revealed far more than the efficiency of a staff member. It had revealed a mind capable of navigating complexity, a presence that commanded respect silently, and a quiet power that reshaped the very environment around her. Every detail, every interaction, every subtle gesture spoke of her capability and foresight, and Nathan understood that he had witnessed not just skill, but a mastery that was rare, deliberate, and quietly transformative, leaving him intrigued, admiring, and fully aware that the lessons of the night had only begun to unfold and that Olivia Bennet still held surprises, insight, and authority that he had yet to fully comprehend. The soft golden light from the lobby chandeliers reflected across the polished marble floors, casting long, subtle shadows as Olivia Bennet moved with deliberate care, checking the final reservations for the night, while Nathan Whitmore continued to watch, his attention unwavering, drawn to the quiet command she held over every detail of the space. She approached a guest who had arrived unexpectedly late, greeting them with a calm, warm smile that immediately eased their concern and guiding them efficiently through the check-in process, while making small adjustments to accommodate their needs without disrupting the flow of the lobby. Nathan noted how she communicated with her staff through subtle gestures and concise words, correcting minor mistakes and anticipating issues before they arose, all with a composed demeanor that contrasted sharply with the usual flurry of activity he had expected in a busy hotel environment. Each interaction, from coordinating room assignments to ensuring dining arrangements were accurate, revealed a mind that was not only meticulous but highly strategic, capable of balancing multiple priorities simultaneously while maintaining a sense of calm authority. Olivia moved to the concierge desk, consulting her tablet to verify a series of unexpected changes, delegating tasks to staff with a soft tone and precise instructions, ensuring nothing was overlooked and every guest felt attended to. Nathan observed how effortlessly she handled the complexity of the evening, noting the subtle ways she guided, corrected, and anticipated without raising her voice, commanding respect through competence and composure rather than assertion or intimidation. A group of VIP guests approached with a last-minute request, and Olivia addressed their needs with clarity and efficiency, balancing the requirements of the staff with the expectations of the visitors, orchestrating the outcome seamlessly while maintaining her approachable presence. Nathan's gaze followed her every movement, his mind registering the combination of intelligence, poise, and authority, realizing that her influence extended far beyond the visible tasks of the lobby. She was shaping experiences, controlling outcomes, and directing attention with a quiet, deliberate power that left a lasting impression. She paused briefly to correct a minor discrepancy in the event's schedule, her hands moving deftly across the tablet, eyes scanning the room to ensure each detail was attended to, staff aligned, and guests accommodated, the atmosphere of the hotel flowing smoothly under her guidance. Nathan exhaled slowly, his admiration deepening as he recognized that Olivia Bennett's presence was a demonstration of mastery, subtle yet undeniable, a capacity to command respect and orchestrate complexity without raising her voice or seeking acknowledgement. Her movements, her decisions, and her quiet, confident demeanor conveyed a level of skill and insight that few could match, and Nathan felt an unfamiliar humility in the presence of someone who wielded influence so effortlessly. As she returned to her final rounds, checking on each area, anticipating potential issues, and guiding staff with precise, measured words, Nathan realized that the lessons of the evening were unfolding not in dramatic gestures or overt displays of authority, but through subtle, thoughtful control, intelligence, and grace. Each small decision, each careful adjustment, and each interaction reinforced the reality that Olivia Bennett was far more than a manager. She was a master of her environment, a quiet force of competence and authority, and Nathan understood that he was witnessing an extraordinary combination of skill, insight, and poise that commanded attention and respect without a single word of boastfulness, leaving him both intrigued and profoundly impressed as the evening drew quietly toward its conclusion. The lobby had grown quiet, the last murmurs of conversation fading as Olivia Bennett moved with quiet authority, ensuring the final tasks of the evening were completed with precision. Nathan Whitmore remained seated, observing the way she orchestrated the remaining staff, her movements seamless, each step calculated yet graceful, her eyes scanning the space for any potential disruption or need that might arise. A guest approached unexpectedly, inquiring about a last-minute room service request, and Olivia responded with calm clarity, outlining the solution while delegating the necessary actions to her team without hesitation or pressure, her voice steady and reassuring. Nathan's gaze lingered on her, noting how effortlessly she managed multiple priorities simultaneously, anticipating problems before they materialized, and guiding her staff with subtle gestures and quiet commands that elicited respect and compliance without raising her voice. She adjusted a minor discrepancy in the dining setup, straightening a chair and repositioning a tablecloth with care, then turned to assist a young staff member who had hesitated in processing a request, gently guiding them with clear instructions and a supportive tone that ensured confidence and competence were maintained. Nathan leaned forward slightly, captivated by the balance of poise, intelligence, and control she exhibited, recognizing that every small decision, every measured action, and every thoughtful gesture revealed an extraordinary ability to lead and manage without ever needing to dominate or command attention. Olivia moved back to the front desk, reviewing the logs for the night, confirming that each room assignment was accurate, and ensuring that no detail had been overlooked, her composure never wavering, her attention precise, and her movements fluid. Nathan's mind raced with realization, understanding that this was not merely an employee performing her duties, but a master of her environment, someone who wielded authority quietly yet decisively, shaping the experience and flow of the hotel in a way that left a lasting impression. She paused briefly, meeting his gaze for a single moment, a subtle acknowledgement that spoke volumes, then returned to the task at hand, demonstrating a mastery of foresight, coordination, and care that made each interaction seem effortless. Nathan felt a mixture of awe and humility, recognizing that Olivia Bennett had the ability to influence outcomes, command attention, and orchestrate complex operations with grace and intelligence. And yet she did so without seeking recognition or asserting dominance, her authority entirely inherent and quietly acknowledged. A final set of guests requested assistance with their luggage, and Olivia guided them with gentle efficiency, anticipating their needs and ensuring the process was smooth and seamless, her calm presence radiating competence and reassurance. Nathan's admiration deepened as he witnessed her handling the closing details of the night, from coordinating the remaining staff to confirming all reservations, adjusting schedules, and addressing last-minute requests, her actions deliberate, elegant, and flawlessly executed. Each movement, each word, each decision revealed a depth of skill, composure, and insight that Nathan had not anticipated, leaving him captivated by her quiet mastery. He realized that the evening had been a series of lessons in observation, humility, and recognition of true capability, that leadership and authority could manifest through quiet precision, thoughtful guidance, and confident yet understated control. As Olivia completed the final tasks and prepared to leave the lobby for the night, Nathan exhaled slowly, a profound respect settling over him, understanding that her influence had been present in every detail of the hotel, in every action she took, and in every interaction she managed, leaving him aware that this was only the beginning of discovering the full measure of her intelligence, capability, and quiet power. The soft hum of the night settled over the emptying lobby, and Olivia Bennett moved with steady assurance, checking each final detail before the end of her shift. Nathan Whitmore sat near the grand staircase, his eyes tracing every gesture she made, noting how effortlessly she balanced efficiency with warmth, authority with grace. A guest approached at the last moment, concerned about a misplaced item in their reservation, and Olivia responded calmly, outlining the solution with clarity and delegating necessary actions to her staff with gentle precision. Nathan watched as she anticipated every step, ensuring no mistake went uncorrected and no need unmet, her voice measured, her instructions clear, yet never commanding more than necessary. She returned to the concierge desk, consulting her tablet, verifying final room assignments and checking the status of guest requests, her movements deliberate and fluid, her presence grounding the energy of the entire space. Nathan's attention sharpened as he realized how she managed not only the staff, but the experience of every guest in the lobby, orchestrating interactions, smoothing transitions, and resolving potential problems with a calm efficiency that made her influence invisible yet absolute. She guided a new staff member through a small complication, offering instruction and subtle correction with patience and authority, ensuring confidence and competence were maintained without ever drawing undue attention to herself. Nathan leaned back slightly, absorbing the full scope of her mastery, understanding that her authority was inherent, earned through skill and intelligence rather than title or loud assertion. She adjusted a minor discrepancy in the event schedule, coordinated a late check-in, and anticipated a guest's needs before they were even voiced, demonstrating a level of foresight and composure that left Nathan impressed and quietly humbled. Each action, each subtle gesture, each precise decision revealed her extraordinary capability, the quiet power of someone who could shape outcomes, manage people, and command respect without ever seeking recognition or displaying dominance. Olivia moved toward the center of the lobby, performing the final rounds of checks, confirming that all reservations were accurate, all rooms prepared, and all staff aligned, her calm composure radiating competence and confidence. Nathan noted how seamlessly she directed the flow of energy, how the atmosphere of the hotel seemed to respond to her presence, and how every interaction she managed carried efficiency, precision, and care. He realized that the evening had been a study in understated mastery, that leadership could be silent yet compelling, guiding outcomes without overt control, influencing events without demanding attention. As she finished her rounds, meeting a final guest with her usual warmth and clarity, Nathan understood that Olivia Bennet had orchestrated the night flawlessly, every detail attended to, every potential problem mitigated, leaving him not just impressed, but genuinely intrigued. Her quiet authority, intelligence, and composure had transformed the ordinary tasks of the lobby into a display of subtle mastery, and Nathan felt a sense of awe as he watched her complete her duties with poise, her skill and presence leaving an indelible mark on the space and on him. The lobby, once just a background of marble and glass, now felt alive with her influence, and Nathan realized that he had witnessed not only competence, but a rare and profound command of environment, people, and timing, a mastery that was quiet, deliberate, and deeply impactful, leaving him aware that Olivia Bennet's capabilities extended far beyond what he had imagined, and that the night's lessons were only beginning to reveal their depth and significance. The quiet of the night deepened as Olivia Bennet walked toward the concierge desk for the final time, her steps measured, calm, yet resonating with the authority she carried effortlessly. Nathan Whitmore remained in the center of the lobby, leaning slightly forward, his steel blue eyes fixed on her movements, tracing the subtle ways she orchestrated the space and the staff around her. A late guest approached, concerned about a minor detail in their booking, and Olivia addressed it immediately, her voice steady and composed, providing a clear solution while directing the staff to implement it without delay, her gestures precise and thoughtful. Nathan noticed how she anticipated needs before they were expressed, how her presence influenced the behavior of the staff and the responses of the guests without any overt command, a quiet power that commanded respect through competence rather than assertion. She guided a staff member through a correction with patience and clarity, teaching and demonstrating without embarrassment, ensuring the lesson was absorbed while maintaining dignity and confidence. Nathan exhaled slowly, taking in the full scope of her skill, the careful attention to detail, the anticipation of challenges, and the calm decisiveness with which she acted in every situation. A sudden minor scheduling conflict arose when a VIP requested an early checkout, and Olivia managed it seamlessly, coordinating the team, confirming room availability, and adjusting the system with a composed, confident approach that left the guests reassured and the staff aligned. Nathan's admiration deepened as he realized the depth of her strategic mind, her capacity to manage multiple priorities simultaneously while keeping the atmosphere serene, organized, and professional. She paused briefly to ensure that the lobby was prepared for the night, walking through each area with careful observation, adjusting small details, and making subtle corrections that ensured the experience for every guest was flawless. Nathan noted the elegance in her movements, the intelligence in her assessments, and the calm authority she wielded naturally, all without demanding recognition, without raising her voice, yet leaving a lasting impact on everyone around her. She returned to the desk, finalizing the logs, confirming that all rooms, services, and guest requests were accounted for, and preparing notes for the next day, her focus absolute, her demeanor composed, and her execution flawless. Nathan could not help but be impressed by the combination of humility and mastery she exhibited, the balance of intelligence, foresight, and composure that allowed her to command the environment without imposing, to influence outcomes without raising her voice, and to maintain dignity while demonstrating undeniable skill. Every subtle gesture, every precise movement, every decision revealed a level of competence and presence that was rare, deliberate, and compelling, and Nathan recognized that he had witnessed not merely efficiency, but a mastery that was both quiet and profound. Olivia paused one final time, Meeting his gaze briefly, the acknowledgement in her eyes calm and assured, a silent confirmation of the authority she carried, leaving Nathan captivated, reflective, and aware that the lessons of the evening extended beyond what he had imagined, that the depth of her intelligence, capability, and quiet power was still unfolding, and that the remaining moments of the night held even more insight into the extraordinary presence and skill of Olivia Bennet. The soft light of the chandeliers reflected across the polished marble, casting gentle highlights that seemed to follow Olivia Bennet as she made her final rounds of the lobby, her movements precise and measured, each step deliberate, exuding calm authority. Nathan Whitmore remained seated near the staircase, leaning slightly forward, his attention focused entirely on her, tracing the subtle ways she orchestrated the environment, managed her staff, and anticipated the needs of each guest with a quiet, deliberate efficiency that left him increasingly impressed. A last-minute inquiry from a guest arrived, and Olivia responded immediately, her voice calm, measured, and full of assurance, guiding the staff through adjustments, delegating tasks with precise gestures, and ensuring the guest felt both acknowledged and accommodated. Nathan observed the seamless manner in which she handled multiple priorities at once, her eyes scanning the lobby, noting subtle changes and small potential disruptions, correcting them with efficiency and grace. She approached a staff member who hesitated on a task and offered guidance with a soft smile and clear instruction, correcting errors without embarrassment, fostering confidence while maintaining control, a demonstration of skill and insight that Nathan had rarely seen. The hum of the lobby seemed to bend around her, a quiet rhythm that followed her movements, each adjustment, each decision creating an invisible order that made the space feel both alive and controlled. Nathan's mind raced as he recognized the depth of her abilities, the combination of intuition, intelligence, and foresight that allowed her to manage complex interactions while keeping the atmosphere serene and welcoming. She moved to the concierge desk, consulting the evening's log and confirming that all room assignments were correct, all guest requests accounted for, and all staff aligned, her focus unwavering, her presence commanding attention without demanding it. Nathan noted the subtle confidence in her posture, the calm assurance in her movements, the way her eyes missed nothing yet never seemed rushed or strained. She returned to assist a guest with a minor adjustment in their reservation, providing solutions quickly, communicating with both staff and visitor with clarity, efficiency, and tact, her actions seamless and understated. Nathan exhaled slowly, appreciating that leadership could be expressed without volume, without force, and yet achieve complete influence, guiding outcomes and commanding respect entirely through competence and composure. Olivia moved past him, checking the layout of the lobby and the readiness of staff for any remaining requests, her presence stabilizing the energy in the room, a subtle but powerful demonstration of control and mastery. Nathan's admiration deepened as he observed the way she balanced authority with approachability, anticipation with execution, and control with grace, recognizing that her influence extended beyond the visible tasks to the entire experience of the hotel, shaping interactions and ensuring harmony without drawing attention to herself. She paused for a moment, meeting his gaze with a subtle acknowledgement, a quiet confidence that spoke volumes, and then continued her rounds, confirming the final arrangements for the night, guiding her team with gentle but effective direction, and ensuring that every detail had been managed perfectly. Nathan understood in that instant that he was witnessing more than mere management. He was witnessing mastery, a rare combination of intelligence, foresight, composure, and quiet authority that reshaped the space and left a lasting impression. Every movement, every subtle instruction, every decision Olivia made illustrated a level of capability and poise that few could match, leaving Nathan captivated, reflective, and deeply aware that the lessons of the evening extended far beyond the simple operations of the hotel, and that the depth of her influence and the power of her quiet command had yet to be fully revealed as the night drew toward its final moments. The night had settled completely over the hotel, the lobby now bathed in a gentle glow from the chandeliers, soft reflections rippling across the polished marble floor as Olivia Bennet completed her final rounds. Nathan Whitmore rose from his seat, his usual composed demeanor softened by an unfamiliar sense of awe, his eyes following her as she moved through the space with calm authority, checking every detail one last time. She guided a staff member to organize the final log sheets, quietly affirming their efforts and offering subtle encouragement that left the young employee beaming with pride and confidence. Nathan noticed how her influence extended beyond management tasks. Her presence instilled calm, respect, and a sense of purpose in everyone around her, transforming the lobby into a space where order, dignity, and grace coexisted effortlessly. As Olivia adjusted a chair for a guest preparing to leave, she exchanged a few words with a security officer about the closing protocol, her tone patient, kind, and precise, conveying competence without commanding attention. Nathan observed, realizing that every small action, every measured decision, and every gesture was a reflection of her mastery, a quiet demonstration of intelligence, skill, and emotional wisdom that had guided the night flawlessly. She paused near the front desk, eyes sweeping the lobby to ensure nothing had been overlooked, her posture calm yet commanding, her expression serene, embodying a quiet dignity that contrasted sharply with the hurried chaos Nathan had expected in such a busy environment. He felt a deep respect settle over him, a recognition that the assumptions he had carried into the evening had been entirely misplaced, and that Olivia's steady composure, insight, and command of her surroundings were far greater than he could have imagined. As she finished her rounds and prepared to leave the lobby, Nathan approached her, his footsteps echoing softly on the marble, and for the first time all evening, he spoke with sincerity and clarity. "Olivia, I cannot overstate what I have witnessed tonight. Your skill, your composure, and the way you lead without ever demanding it. It is extraordinary." She met his gaze, a faint, warm smile touching her lips, acknowledging his words without pride, her eyes reflecting the calm strength that had guided every interaction. Nathan exhaled slowly, feeling a sense of quiet relief and inspiration, recognizing that true influence and leadership were not measured by volume, wealth, or dominance, but by competence, dignity, and the grace with which one treated those around them. Olivia nodded once, simply, her posture poised, a subtle affirmation of her principles and quiet mastery. Nathan took a moment to absorb the significance of the evening, understanding that the lessons he had witnessed extended far beyond the operations of the hotel. They were lessons in humility, respect, and the enduring power of quiet dignity. As they both stepped toward the exit, the soft lighting catching the lines of her calm face, Nathan realized that his perception of strength and influence had been forever altered, that true power often resided in those who commanded it with subtlety, thoughtfulness, and unwavering integrity. The night had unfolded into a story of competence, grace, and emotional justice, leaving him with a profound sense of respect and a quiet inspiration that lingered long after the lobby had emptied. As the doors closed behind them, the soft echo of their footsteps resonated in the stillness, a silent testament to the impact of Olivia Bennett's intelligence, skill, and dignity. And if this story stirred something in you, pause for a moment, reflect on the quiet strength in the world around you, and consider sharing your thoughts, leaving a comment, or subscribing to continue witnessing stories where patience, wisdom, and quiet courage change everything.